Once upon a time, Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the next big thing, the next great quarterback, the next can't-miss guy. 3 years after being selected, do the Texans already have a significant mismatch at the quarterback position? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room.
Is CJ Stroud already significantly better than Trevor Lawrence? Is there any area in which, or any question, any hypothetical in which you would rather have Trevor Lawrence than CJ Stroud? It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Can't wait to watch the Texans and the Jags on Sunday for control of the division. And I try to avoid absolutes. I try to respect the fluid process of sports. One of my great mentors told me sports are fluid. So when you speak in absolutes and you're dismissive of players and stuff, I try to be a little bit cautious about that. Now, you don't avoid having opinions. A lot of times your opinions end up being proven wrong. And sometimes you accept that your opinions are proven wrong, and then they end up being proven right. The Bryce Young, CJ Stroud debate is the best example of that. I was a Bryce Young guy. A lot of people were Bryce Young guys. And we're, 11 weeks into CJ Stroud's rookie season and Bryce Young's rookie season. And it seems like the Texans got the right guy. However, I'm not completely dismissive of the possibility that Bryce Young, a couple years down the line, plays his way into being a really good quarterback, maybe in the discussion with CJ Stroud. Would I bet on it based on what we've seen and based on what Bryce Young's surroundings are compared to what CJ Stroud's surroundings are? And a lot of those surroundings have to do with CJ. It's chicken or egg, tomato type of thing. But I wouldn't completely dismiss it. With that said, I am willing to say right now definitively that CJ Stroud is better than Trevor Lawrence. He's better than him right now. I don't even think that's debating it. He's having a better season. He's playing better than Trevor Lawrence right now. And in the long term, he appears to be a guy that you would want to build around. I don't even think this is a hot take. You know, there's a lot of hot takes involving quarterbacks. CJ Stroud's better than Trevor Lawrence. I don't even think it's a hot take at this point. And we all remember when Trevor Lawrence was being drafted, they had the picture of Andrew Luck. They had the picture of John Elway. Rookie season didn't start well to the point where some people were foolishly saying, Davis Mills had a better rookie season than Trevor Lawrence. A lot of that had to do with Urban Meyer. But even 3 years down the line, and even with Jacksonville investing in all the weapons, et cetera, and even with Trevor Lawrence winning a playoff game, which, by the way, I know that it's how you finish, but that playoff loss, or that playoff win, I should say, had as much to do with Brandon Staley and the Chargers and him being a disaster as it did anything the Jags did. And furthermore, if you watch the first half of that, Trevor Lawrence, that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. So even when he's at his best, I don't say all that to minimize the accomplishment, but even when he's at his best, there are multiple plays where you just say, what the hell was that? Where he's completely missing a receiver, even when he's at his best. Last year, the Jags won the division because Ryan Tannehill got hurt. They went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes got hurt. Jacksonville was pretty overhyped heading into this season. However, you were thinking that if the Jags were going to take the next step, it was going to be because Trevor Lawrence would take the next step. These are Trevor Lawrence's stats right now. He's got 2,382 passing yards. CJ Stroud has 2,962. He's got 11 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. CJ Stroud has 17 and 5. He's got the 60.2 QBR. Stroud has 60.7 QBR. And he's completing 68.1%, while Stroud's completing 62.8. He also has one of the most effective running backs in the NFL this year, and Travis Etienne. He has heavy investments in his weapons, including bringing in Calvin Ridley the offseason after they added 3 guys to the roster that had career years in Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones. Meanwhile, CJ Stroud had a wide receiver core that was a significant question. Nico Collins, don't think he'd had over 40 catches in a season. Tank Dell was drafted in the 3rd round. Robert Woods, the Titans didn't even want Robert Woods. And CJ Stroud, I would say, is doing more with less. Although that might even be debatable, which I don't even know. I don't know if we're going to debate that or not. They brought in Calvin Ridley for Trevor Lawrence. So the questions are simple. Who would you rather have, CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence? I think it's CJ Stroud, no brainer. Like, even if you're just trying to win the game on Sunday, I think it's CJ Stroud, no brainer. They've already gone toe-to-toe earlier this year. Texans had a depleted offensive line. I think they had 3 or 4 starters out, and Stroud was able to go 20 of 30 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, an 87.8 QBR. Lawrence was 27 of 40 for 279, touchdown, interception, 53.5 rating, and an 85.3. And the Texans went to Jacksonville and beat the Jags 37-17. Oh, by the way, Noah Brown wasn't playing in that game either. So head-to-head, CJ Stroud already has the edge. Season-long, CJ Stroud has the edge. Again, I don't even think this is a hot take. This might actually be a wasted video, honestly. I mean, I should probably ask a better question. Like, do you want to make Trevor Lawrence one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL? Because that's where Jacksonville is really going to find trouble. Because you're going to be, you're not, I don't even think you're paying. I mean, is Trevor Lawrence a top 10 quarterback right now? You're going to pay him like he's one of the best. I mean, I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying that's where you kind of find trouble if this doesn't happen. Again, early in the process, but as we sit right now, there's no one that is going to say that they would rather have Trevor Lawrence than CJ Stroud. At least I don't think. Put it in the comments if you disagree. That question may be debatable. Who would you rather have right now for one Sunday? I think the answer is CJ Stroud. Didn't really even have to think about it. Who would you rather build a team around? Again, this is where you got to factor in the contract. Right now, CJ Stroud's on his rookie deal. He's having one of the best rookie seasons that we've ever seen. Could it all come tumbling down? Yes, that's happened before. It could very well happen. But if I told you, you get CJ Stroud with where he is right now, you're going to have him on his rookie deal for a few more years, or you're a couple years away, really maybe an offseason away from paying Trevor Lawrence and making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. You tell me which situation you'd rather have. That's a no-brainer. I thought the initial question, which one would you rather have right now, was a no-brainer, CJ Stroud. This one, I mean, I don't even think you got to think about this one. So is CJ Stroud already better than Trevor Lawrence? I'll let you decide. I would say yes. That's what my eyes tell me. That's what the numbers tell me. That's what we see. And is there any scenario where you'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than CJ Stroud? I can't see it. I mean, maybe in like a hair contest or something, maybe. I mean, but as far as quarterback right now, quarterback in the future, I don't think there's any scenario. Again, don't want to dismiss it. I know it's a fluid process. Still not, ready to like dismiss the Stroud versus Bryce Young debate, although that doesn't look great. But I mean, does anyone think Trevor Lawrence is as good as CJ Stroud right now? Is he in MVP discussions? I haven't heard his name. I don't even see him on the board. I know CJ Stroud is. I know he's playing good. I know he's doing more with less. And I know the intangibles look good. So Trevor Lawrence came in with all the hype. CJ Stroud had the questions. But in a short time, it seems like the answer to both questions, who would you rather have now and who would you rather have in the future, it's CJ Stroud. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in it together. We're 2 days away from Stroud versus Lawrence Volume 2. Happy Thanksgiving to you. On to NRG on Sunday.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give. We got take